from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's favorite gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, happy Friday to you, America. Welcome to the Todd Starnes radio show. Happy to have you with us today. Wow, a lot going on, and our great president heading to Texas today. President Trump is going to be meeting with the families of those who lost loved ones in the floods, and it's going to be a really poignant moment. Let me just say this. The president, he really excels at this kind of thing. It's a terrible tragedy what happened in Texas, and there are so many people right now trying to make political hay over all of this, and it's really unfortunate. At the end of the day, and there are a lot of people out there, you've got this one group of people saying, oh, it was people out there, the scientists, cloud seeding, and it went out of control, and now we're getting these massive floods all over the world. You've got others who say that President Trump ended up cutting out all of the National Weather Service people, therefore nobody could sound the alarms. And you've got people blaming everybody. Now, I just want to say something here about this, because I think this may very well be one of those moments when there's really no one specifically to blame for anything. It was just a horrible tragedy. I mean, nobody thought that there would ever be a 30-foot wall of water that would go through the Texas Hill Country. I mean, these kinds of things, they can't be predicted. You just don't know, and especially in the wee hours of the morning. The reality is the National Weather Service was not only staffed, it was overstaffed. They had additional people on duty that night. So you can't really fault them. The good people of Kerr County, they chose not to spend over $1 million on some sort of an advanced flood alert system. Okay, they were trying to save a few dollars. You can't fault them for that. And even then, I'm not sure that would have even mattered much when you only have 30 minutes to try and get out of harm's way. I don't know. But if you are looking for somebody to blame here, and again, we're not in the blame game on this. I just think it's a horrible, horrible tragedy. But it turns out that Camp Mystic, which is where for more than 100 years that camp has been located there, for more than 100 years, the wealthy and prestigious, the famous, the powerful, they have sent their daughters to this camp. And it turns out that much of the camp is built in a floodplain. But again, over 100 years, they haven't had too many problems. And then all of a sudden, you have this devastation. So anyway, President Trump going down there, and he'll be meeting with everybody. It certainly seems as though they've been getting all the resources they need from FEMA. So there you go. We've got a lot to talk about today. It is also Open Line Friday. And let me explain how this works. We've got a lot of new listeners out in the panhandle of Texas. This is the moment of the week where you can call in and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you have a question you want to ask, you can, and it's off topic, you can do that. During the week, we try to keep everybody laser focused on whatever the big issue of the day is. But today, it's anything goes. So I want you to write down our telephone number. You will need this, 901-260-5926. Again, our number, 901-260-5926. So we start in Washington because we have a little bit of homework for you fine folk to do today. And we have a disturbing story coming out of the Senate. Now, I don't like to be the guy who says, I told you so. But we're dealing with some rhinos on Capitol Hill. And we're dealing with Republicans who do not want President Trump or his agenda to succeed, period. I mean, that's really ultimately it in a nutshell. So many of you are going to be shocked by this news. But Congress has yet to codify the big DOGE cuts. They haven't done it yet. And the clock is ticking. They have until July 18th to do this. And this is what we call the rescissions package. And Senator Marsha Blackburn, she'll be joining us next week to talk about all of this. But this is a big deal because now at least four, and hear me on this, there will be more. And I'm specifically thinking of Tom Tillis and Mitch McConnell. But right now, 4 lawmakers on the record, all Republicans in the Senate, who say they do not want to defund National Public Welfare Radio or the Public Welfare Broadcasting Network. In other words, they want to keep funding for NPR and PBS. All of that is under the umbrella of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So they get $1.1 billion of your tax money. $1.1 billion of your tax money. And I want to name these senators, and I don't care if you live in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, or Wichita, Kansas, or Salem, Oregon, or Portland, Maine. I don't care where you live. I want you to pick up the phones, and I want you to call these offices and demand that these renegade Republican rhinos end their rebellion against Donald Trump. This is unacceptable. And you tell them I said to call. But here are the names. Lisa Murkowski out of Alaska, Mike Rounds out of South Dakota, Susan Collins out of Maine, and Dan Sullivan out of Alaska. So you've got the entire delegation in Alaska has gone rogue. And their argument is that all of the small towns and communities need their NPR station. Is that true? You see, I don't believe that's true. I think there are plenty of other methods of communication out there available to people in small towns and communities that may not be serviced by a TV station or a large radio station. Plenty of other opportunities. But you're telling me that these 4, and by the way, that's all they need. These are all the votes they need to preserve the funding for NPR and PBS. Now, President Trump is pretty hot about all of this. By the way, and the rescissions package, more than $9 billion in cuts. Now, keep in mind, Elon promised us $2 trillion, but we got $9 billion. It also eliminates money for USAID. All of this is now on the line because of these 4 Republican senators. So President Trump last night put out the following statement, and here's what he had to say. It is very important that all Republicans adhere to my rescissions bill and, in particular, defund the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, all caps, by the way, PBS and NPR, which is worse than CNN and MSDNC put together. The president went on to say, any Republican that votes to allow this monstrosity to continue broadcasting will not have my support or endorsement. And I say, good for you, Mr. President. Good for you, sir. But what does it say, though, that these senators think they are able to stand up and defy Donald Trump on one of the most important things that he is doing right now? Who do these people think they are? But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, you better believe that Tom Tillis and Mitch McConnell are going to be joining this group of rogue Republicans. Folks, I am just incredibly concerned now about where we are going into the midterms. We've still got time to fix all of this. We've got time to do all the right things, but I am telling you, the Republican caucus in the House and the Senate, the caucus, they concern me because they are not unified and they are not on board with the president's agenda. Just think back just a few moments ago. Nobody ever defied in the Democrat Party. Nobody defied Joe Biden. Everybody voted lock, stock, and barrel. If there was a Democrat piece of legislation, everybody got behind it. But these rhino Republicans, you can't trust them. And you know why? Because they're all part of the uniparty. They all go to the same country clubs. Their kids all go to the same private schools. They go to the same Georgetown cocktail parties. It's just a big club for them. And we don't matter except at election time when they come out there and they feed you fried chicken or whatnot, give you some watermelon, and then they got your vote. And I am telling you, folks, every time I see this stuff, I'm reminded of how important it is that we have term limits. Because these people now, they think they don't answer to anybody. They don't even think they answer to Donald J. Trump. Do you understand the hubris that takes? This is unbelievable. So we're going to take your calls on this. I want you to give these lawmakers a telephone call. We have their names up on the website. Very easy for you to see there. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. Here's the question. Do you believe that NPR and PBS should be defunded? I mean, it really is that simple. It's a simple question. Should the Corporation for Public Broadcasting be defunded? 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
You're with Todd Starnes.
Hey, Patriots, Todd Starnes here with big news. Trump's fighting for our country to get it back on the right track, battling China, who's likely dumping treasuries to sink the dollar, and facing tariffs that are having a sharp bite on the stock market. Now, Trump is playing the long game for America, putting Americans first. But like hard work, there's always going to be some pain. So you've got to play smart, too. Secure your hard-earned savings and retirement with Vault U.S. Gold. Their IRS-approved gold IRAs let you roll over your IRA or 401k with a no-commission pros. Safe, simple, tax-smart, protecting your future. Want it in hand? Well, their direct delivery program ships insured gold and silver to your door, offering privacy, yours to store securely. Real assets that you can hold and touch for tough times. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd Starnes for your free investor kit. And tell them Todd sent you and don't go unprotected. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life. And he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Get hurt in the game? We tough it out. Feel exhausted? We push on. Feeling down? We pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. But there are times when bootstraps aren't enough. When stress gets to us and we need to talk to someone about what we're really going through. So we're going to reach out because sometimes mental health is not a one-person job. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. All right, welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday to you. This is the Todd Stearns Radio Show. You know, I forgot to mention this earlier. There was a huge ruling involving the Churches of America and the Internal Revenue Service. Now, this goes all the way back to LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson. Back before he was president, he was the Senate Majority Leader. And this guy was just ruthless and corrupt. He really was. And they were all about fixing elections and buying elections. Really bad stuff. So LBJ, back when he was the Senate Majority Leader, implemented what became known as the Johnson Amendment. And at the time, LBJ was facing fierce opposition from the religious community there in Texas. He was in the middle of an election season, and a lot of conservative groups were very unhappy with LBJ, and they wanted to remove him from the Senate. And that many of them were talking about these issues from the pulpits. So LBJ pushed through legislation that would have stopped, and that did stop, churches from being able to endorse candidates. Any 501c3 was not allowed to get involved in politics and was not allowed to endorse any candidates. Now, here's the problem with that. Only one component of the religious community agreed to do that. But black churches, by and large, and I mean by and large, black churches have always ignored the Johnson Amendment. They never got in trouble, right? But if you had a Republican candidate showing up at a white church, a white evangelical church, and said something, their tax exempt status would have been revoked in a heartbeat. Now, there are a lot of people out there who say that the church should forego all tax exempt status, and they should get out there and they should be allowed to endorse these candidates. Well, the good news is that a new ruling has completely eliminated that. So now churches are allowed to endorse candidates. Pastors are allowed to endorse candidates from the pulpit. And the reality of it is this. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. Now that the churches have the right, should they invoke that right? Should churches be allowed to endorse a political candidate? Should your pastor from the pulpit be allowed to endorse a political candidate, whether it's for mayor or president or anything in between? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. 901-260-5926. That's 901-260-5926. So again, the IRS is lifting the ban on churches getting involved in politics and specifically endorsing candidates. You know, it's interesting. Whenever I go, and I'm invited to speak at a lot of places. As a matter of fact, coming up in August, I'll be speaking at the Gun Owners Association of America. Their huge conference in Knoxville. Going to be a lot of fun. But every now and again, I'm invited to speak at a church. And I'm always excited to be able to do that. And just so you know, we never charge churches if they want to cover our travel expenses. That's great. We appreciate that. But I never want to take money away from the mission of the church, which is sharing the gospel and helping people in the community who might be in need. So I do that as a courtesy. I'll never forget years ago, I was, and I'm actually still a member of a speakers bureau, and they book you for events and whatnot, and we sort of got into it because they were wanting to charge churches for me to come and spend. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that. And anyway, they relented, and we certainly appreciate all of that because, again, we never want to interfere with the mission of the church. All that to say, whenever I go and speak, people are very surprised that my speeches and my messages are not overtly political. And I think it throws people for a loop because they would expect me to come in there with, Republican red meat, and that's just simply not what I do. And whenever I'm going and I'm speaking at a church, I want to use that as an opportunity to encourage Christians to engage the culture and to provide the historical context for Christians being engaged in the culture, for Christians running for public office, for Christians taking a stand on the very difficult issues in their community. And those are the sorts of things that we talk about whenever I'm speaking in a congregation. But look, there are others that want to get up there, and they believe that we should be turning our churches into rallies for the Republican Party. And I don't know about that. I have a problem when the Democrats do it, and I've got a problem when the Republicans do the same thing. And I'm not sure what that would look like. I mean, what would happen? What would happen if your pastor gets up there one Sunday and says, "Okay, I'm endorsing so and so." And what happens if you don't like so and so? Is that going to be a problem for you? Anyway, the filing creates what the IRS did was it created a narrow exception to the so-called Johnson Amendment. And keep in mind, the whole point of LBJ doing that was to shut up the churches. He wanted to shut them up. And when you step back and when you think about this for just a moment, and this is serious here, what you're doing is you're telling the church they're not allowed to do something. And in some way, you are silencing the church. You're silencing sermons on, for example, ballot referendums, how we're supposed to behave and what we're supposed to do as Christians in civil government. I mean, there's a lot there. But there's also room for a lot of abuse of that. And I would hate to think that we're going to be turning our church houses now into these political rallies for the Republicans, much like what the Democrats have done over on the left with all of the black churches of America. Anyway, curious to hear thoughts on that. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. It is Open Line Friday. Hey, by the way, head over right now to Amazon, and if you haven't done so, pick up a copy of my brand new book. It's called Star Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. You can get a copy, hardcover, Kindle, audio version. We'll be right back.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm not a young guy, and I'm an ex-athlete. Well, yeah, when I was taking it, I recognized that I was feeling better. You know what I'm saying? And just mentally knowing is important also.
I am a customer of you guys. I love your product. Love it, love it. Nothing but good things to say about your product. I love it. And as long as y'all are going to sell it, I'm going to take it as long as I can.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots.
And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Mama, what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
When the wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Yeah, whale sound.
Do the giraffe.
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medi-Share. Maybe you've heard switching to Medi-Share to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that is huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for Medi-Share is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medi-Share works, too. It's been around for 30 years. Members have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. So see what you can save. This is a very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. 844-43-BIBLE.
Hey, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time, and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
All right, wow. A lot going on today. Let's get to the phone lines. I'm excited to talk to. We're going to start our day in beautiful Collierville, Tennessee, one of the prettiest towns in America. And just great, great people there, including our great listener, Justin from Collierville. Hey, Justin, what's going on?
Hey, Todd. Hey, I just wanted to call and just comment about churches being able to endorse candidates now. And I'm so happy to have that transparency because there's a lot of churches that claim to be Christian and promote Christian principles or really biblical principles. But this is going to out a bunch of churches once they start endorsing candidates, and the candidates don't necessarily follow biblical principles. Of I'll say for instance, is the issue of life and promoting life. that should be like a red flag, especially if any candidate isn't pro-life and a church is promoting them. So I think it's great all the way around. I think it keeps churches more accountable, and also keeps the candidate accountable to the church maybe they're even a member of.
I think that is a great way of looking at it. Justin, I've always believed, though, that the problem with the Johnson Amendment is it's been so confusing, and I don't think it's all that confusing, but you'll have big churches, and the mega churches are the ones that are probably the worst offenders because they're running those churches like big businesses. And that's just the nature of it. We're talking about, tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. And many of them will use the Johnson Amendment as an excuse not to talk about some of the key culture war issues of the time. For example, the entire LGBTQ movement.
Yeah, and that's going to be big, especially from a pastoral standpoint. Are the two things that I'm going to be looking for if a church who they endorse as a candidate is, do they promote life and do they consider marriage as a sacrament between man and women? So if they promote candidates that are outside of that, I'll have a hard time visiting that church.
Yeah, good for you. I know one church in the Memphis area. I'm not going to name it. I don't go there, but I'll say that much. But the church actually this was right after COVID or during the COVID, they were holding Bible studies, encouraging their white parishioners, an evangelical church, encouraging their white parishioners to repent for the color of their skin. I got to tell you, if I'd have been a member of that church, I'd have been gone in 2 seconds.
They should open their Bible and read Jew or a Gentile. It doesn't matter because we're all one in Christ. But maybe they don't know where a Bible is.
They may not. That part of they may have edited that out of their Bible. All right, Justin. Good hearing from you, my friend, and stay cool there in Collierville. Let's go to Dan in New Hampshire. Hi, Dan. What's on your mind today?
Yes, I wanted to inform your listeners on this rogue judge, Joseph LaPlante in New Hampshire, who was nominated by George Bush Jr. in 2007. He's the one that slapped an injunction on Trump on birthright citizenship. Okay? Now, the thing here is, if you go back to January 2023, okay, the Dirty Irish Sea Chair, Chris Ager, left the primary open in New Hampshire. Then the Secretary of State, so when he left the primary open, the cutoff date was the first Wednesday in June 2023. The Secretary of State, David Scanlon, extended the cutoff date to the first Wednesday in October, 4 extra months. Just in the month of September, 3,542 Democrats who were urged by Reid Hoffman and Nikki Haley swapped out to vote against Trump in the primary. That was nearly 15,000 in those 4 months. Now, we took them to trial. Some 3 friends of mine took that to trial on January 5th, 2024, okay, before the primary. And the guy that was doing the case was Joseph LaPlante, and he ruled against us, okay, instead of saying we had to prove a standing or a president. It's a trick word because they don't want to rule on the fact that the Secretary of State violated the law by extending it 4 extra months.
Look, let's bring this back, though. Let's bring this around to birthright citizenship again, where this, again, is another key component of President Trump's agenda. And here's where I get concerned, Dan, is that we've seen a lot of great political theater over the past 6 or 7 months. But the reality is that at the end of the day, none of this has been codified, and we're going to have to codify it. And if we do not do that, then this will all be for nothing. And you're going to have all the Mexicans coming across the border to have their babies, or from China or wherever. And it's just going to continue to get worse.
Yep. And the other thing here is these dirty, corrupt judges are legislating from the bench are being funded by dirty organizations like Act Blue, Arbella, ACLU, State Democracy Democracy Forward, Crew, the 1630 PAC, and which also funds the Marxist Socialist Communist Democrats, attorney generals, district attorneys, district judges, lawyers, academia, protesters, and the media. And the thing that's going on here is all part of the 501. All right.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Dan, and it's there's a lot to unravel there, and that's what Trump is trying to do, and Congress has to get on board, and they've got to move these things through. Dan, I appreciate your call. 901-260-5926 is our number. That's 901-260-5926. Let's say hello to our good friend Joe from Ellijay, Georgia. Hi, Joe. What's going on?
Todd, you got the best program around. I just want to say that I loved Reagan. I thought he was a great president, but I think Trump is by far the best. I mean, the stock market is breaking records every day. I've never seen, in my lifetime, I've never seen people so fired up as they are now about any president like they are about Trump. And, of course, I think your radio show is a big help for Trump and any conservative. But I'm just want to let you know, I know you've got a lot of other callers, so I won't hang around long, but keep up the good work, because I think one of the reasons Trump is doing so well is people like you that are broadcasting across the nation and praising what he's doing for the taxpayers. So I'm just real happy and appreciate everything you do. Just keep up the good work.
Joe, you're a good man. Always good hearing from you there in the North Georgia mountains, and thank you for calling in today. By the way, this evening, 5 o'clock Eastern, The Todd Starnes Show on Newsmax. It's going to be a lot of fun. By the way, Newsmax just going public on the New York Stock Exchange, and millions of people are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the fourth highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Grant Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So here's what I want you to do. Download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV. Start watching today. It's absolutely free. And check out Newsmax shares on the New York Stock Exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. Well, there's a very interesting story coming out of Utah. Bath and Body Works facing a federal lawsuit over preferred pronouns. Jocelyn Bowden says she was fired from her job as a store manager at Bath and Body Works in Layton, Utah. And apparently she declined to address a transgender employee, a brand new employee, by her preferred pronouns. Now, the trans worker is a woman pretending to be a man. Ms. Bowden said that her religious convictions prevented her from using male pronouns when addressing a woman. First Liberty Institute representing Ms. Bowden, and they say Bath and Body Works violated the religious rights policies outlined under Title VII. They also allege that the company violated the Utah Anti-Discrimination Act by retaliating against Ms. Bowden for expressing her religious beliefs. So here's the issue, and there are multiple, and I'm glad First Liberty Institute is involved in all of this, but the owners of Bath and Body Works clearly have not come to terms with the fact that God created men and women, male and female, and pronouns are assigned accordingly. And that is how that works, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why that is absolutely so difficult for people to understand. Also, by the way, have you gone to see the new Superman movie? It opened up last night around the nation. Reviews not so good. People are going and they're like, okay. And basically, and they, I mean, some people love it, and most people are. It's like, okay, it's all right. But anyway, the review's not so good for the all-new woke Superman movie. And here's the thing: they're making Superman a beta male. I mean, that's basically what they did. So he's like touchy-feely, kind of a superhero character. Anyway, we can confirm that Truth, Justice, and the American Way was replaced with Truth, Justice, and all of those good things. So they reworked Superman's motto. It's interesting. James Gunn, who's the director of the film, and I thought he did a great job in, Lou, what's the movie? That the other movie, Lou. Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you, Dylan. Guardian. I thought that was a fine movie. You know, my favorite part of that, the favorite part was not the tree, and it wasn't, what is that critter? Was it a raccoon?
Yeah, Rocket the Raccoon.
Rocket the Raccoon. My favorite part was the 80s soundtrack.
Yeah. All the Guardians movies have really good soundtracks on them.
Great soundtrack. But, man, has he messed, I don't know what got into his brain, you know, but you don't want to take an iconic character like Superman, and now it's all about politics. And it doesn't have to be. But he literally made it about politics, immigration, climate change. Oh, and here's the thing. But he's wrapping all of this around this idea that his version of Superman exudes basic human kindness. So if, for example, you've got a problem with, I don't know, say 20 million people crossing the border illegally, you are unkind. You are not a very kind person, and you are un-American. That's coming from the director of the movie. So again, why would you say that? Why would you say any of that before the movie comes out? Because you know what's going to happen. Because people are going to go to see the movie, and they're going to come away, and they're not going to enjoy it because they're looking at that movie, viewing the movie through that particular cultural lens. And so anyway, I got a couple of messages from people like, why, Stearns, why are you caught up on all of this? Why does this matter at all? Well, I think it does matter because this is an all-American superhero. This is an all-American character. This is us, right? This, when you look at the creators of the character, this is us, created right here on American soil. And all of the good in us is portrayed in this character who has all this power and ability, but uses it for good and not evil. Using my comic book voice there. But it's sort of like, you know, for example, moon pies. Moon pies, they don't have those in Saudi Arabia. That's why they suck, right? We've got moon pies here. That makes us great. We've got Bojangles. That's an American product. They don't have that stuff over in France. They don't even put ice in the glasses over there. We got Coca-Cola. By golly. We've got McDonald's. Yes, I know we have diabetes too, but that's America's. We own that disease. Proudly. With great girth and gusto. We used to have the Boy Scouts, right? But look what happened. All these great iconic things, even football and baseball. I mean, you go to the baseball games, you know the one thing that strikes me about baseball? Nobody's there. I mean, back when I was a kid, man, the stands were, I mean, you could not get a ticket to baseball games. The stadiums were filled. Nobody's going anymore. You know why? Because they made baseball suck. Liberalism, wokeness. And it takes forever to get through a game. You know what else? The NFL. And Rush Limbaugh predicted that. Rush Limbaugh predicted that the feminazis would destroy the NFL. They're on their way to doing that. Look at the Boy Scouts. They're not even boys anymore. They're girls. I mean, how do you look at Coca-Cola? Look what they did to Coke. Anybody remember New Coke? The old Coke was fine. We didn't need a new Coke. The new Coke sucked. Actually, I think it was the same Coke. But anyway, that doesn't matter. You don't mess with the originals. Look, hear me on this. This is about who we are, ultimately. It's about the essence of America. And it's being co-opted by left-wingers in Hollywood and in marketing and other places to advance a very un-American agenda. This movie does not promote truth, justice, or the American way. It's the very opposite of the American way. And someone pointed out that all the female characters in this movie were actually the strongest. Because, again, Hollywood, they don't know how to deal with an alpha male character. They just don't. And the reason why is you got a bunch of guys driving Subarus making all these movies. I'm just saying. All right, we got to take a break here at 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Stearns Show.
He's not bitter. He's blessed. Todd Stearns.
Grandma's Kitchen, where laughter and warm meals mingle. Each bite is a journey through generations. As you gather around the table, complement the meal with Balance of Nature fruits and veggies supplements. Our veggies supplement, made from 15 ingredients like garlic, onion, and cayenne pepper, can easily be opened and added to your favorite dishes, like homemade soups or dips. Not to mention our fruit supplement, which is made from 16 ingredients like banana, strawberries, and mango, making it a great addition to your homemade smoothies. So the next time you gather with family, enjoy Balance of Nature supplements as an addition to your favorite dishes. Primetime savings end Friday. Don't miss out. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 40% off your first preferred set. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code TODD.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT.
America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Happy to have you with us. By the way, so excited about the reviews coming in on Star Spangled Blessings. I'm really excited about this this little book. It's been a lot of fun. Michelle Cox and I wrote this together, and it is doing so well. And I just really want everyone to read this and to be inspired over the greatness of our country. And so many of our young people, they, for whatever reason, they're just not plugged into what makes America great. And in this book, we sort of outline all of that for not just kids, but it's for adults. but it's a great devotion book to sit down and maybe in the morning, maybe once a week, just sit down and reflect on some of the stories that we share in Star Spangled Blessings. And it's been so encouraging. Our good friend General John Teichert just sent me a note, and I want to read this to you. The General Teichert just retired. He was the base commander at Edwards Air Force Base, and he was also the base commander at Joint Base Andrews back when it was Andrews Air Force Base, and was just really so kind. He read the book. I didn't realize he got a copy of the book. He says, Todd, this was a wonderful devotional, so much so that I couldn't stop from binge reading it. And we've been hearing this from people who do not stop at day one. They just go all the way through and they read all of the, which is fine, but, you know, you got to pace yourself because there's so many other great devotion books out there. But anyway, he posted a review on his LinkedIn, and I didn't realize you could even do something like that. And it was incredibly kind. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll be able to read it. I shared a copy there. But we certainly appreciate Brigadier General John Teichert, who is also my military expert on Newsmax, writing just such a very kind review of Star Spangled Blessings. You can order a copy right now, Amazon.com. Head over there, check it out. Hardcover, audio version, Kindle, you name it, we've got it. All right, hang tight, everybody. Hour 2 of the big show coming up.
Attention, Patriots. Old Glory Bank, the bank for Main Street, not Wall Street, is now offering you a chance to own a piece of America's freedom economy. President and CEO Mike Ring recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee to fight for your banking freedom. Now you can join the fight by investing in Old Glory Bank. Visit own.oldglorybank.com to become an owner today. Investments involve risk, are not FDIC insured, and are not guaranteed. See our offering circular.
Franklin Graham says Star Spangled Blessings is a must-read for America's patriot families. The newest book from Todd Starnes, a daily devotional filled with great stories about how God has blessed America. Star Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. Each daily devotional comes with a Yankee Doodle, a Patriot prayer, and a Liberty lesson. Not to mention some all-American recipes that will bless your heart and your belly. Star Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots, available at your favorite bookstore or order online at toddstarnes.com.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life, and he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS. Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. So maybe you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're much happier with. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Bath and Body Works facing a federal lawsuit over preferred pronouns. Jocelyn Bowden says she was fired from her job as a store manager at Bath and Body Works in Layton, Utah. She declined to address a new transgender employee by her preferred pronouns. Now, the trans worker is a woman pretending to be a man. Ms. Bowden says her religious convictions prevented her from using male pronouns when addressing a woman. First Liberty Institute is representing Ms. Bowden. They say Bath & Body Works violated the religious rights policies outlined under Title VII. They also say the company violated the Utah Anti-Discrimination Act by retaliating against Ms. Bowden for expressing her religious beliefs. Well, the owners of Bath & Body Works clearly have not come to terms with the idea that God created men and women and pronouns are assigned accordingly. And that's how that works. Be sure to read my brand new book, Star Spangled Blessings. I'm Todd Stearns.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute. From the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's common sense conservative commentary from Todd Starnes.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
You know, here's what I don't get about what's happening over in California today. Hello, everybody. Welcome, by the way, to the Todd Starnes radio program. What an honor to have you with us. So, you've got ICE agents, and they are going into these farms. And yesterday, hundreds of people were arrested when ICE agents targeted a couple of farms. One of them was growing marijuana. It's a legal operation. But what was illegal about it is you had all of these illegals. And on top of that, you had a bunch of kids. We're talking about little kids. You had little illegal alien children that were working the marijuana fields. And the Democrats are enraged, just enraged. But they're not enraged over the fact that little children are harvesting marijuana. They're upset that the children were arrested, were taken into custody by ICE agents and now they won't have, I guess, the Democrats are really concerned because they're not going to have any marijuana. I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's what they're concerned about. ICE has already found 10,000 missing children, 10,000 children that the Biden administration just lost. And you know why? Because they're working the marijuana fields over in California. And who loves marijuana? Who loves the devil's lettuce, ladies and gentlemen? It's the Democrats. They'll smoke anything. Except the pork butts. We do that. You know, that's okay. So anyway, there was a lot of chaos. So there was basically a riot. And this mob went off on the ICE agents. As a matter of fact, a gunman opened fire. This is all on video, which you can see at ToddStarnes.com. And now the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for whoever fired the shots. Thank goodness none of the ICE agents were injured. But anyway, Tom Homan is really upset about all of this. And he's very upset because they're using these little kids out there in the fields. And Governor Gavin Newsom, and by the way, Gavin Newsom is enraged that ICE is out there. Well, what about the fact that the kids were being used as slave labor, Governor? Why did you allow that, sir? And I'll tell you why, because he's smoking the devil's lettuce. All right, cut number 2.
But, Tom, it strikes me unbelievable that the Democrats are not on board. When you look at this raid, there were 10 juveniles that were illegally brought across the border. You and I covered this under the Biden administration. I was down in Texas. We encountered 8, 10-year-old, 12-year-olds coming across with just a name and an address and a phone number on their necks, the cartel ruthlessly sending them across. And yet now we know that 10 of them, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors, working illegally in a marijuana farm, and your agents go in and rescue them essentially, and yet there is violent resistance to that. Does that upset you?
It certainly upsets me, and like I said, you know, the work men and women of ICE are doing is incredible. Look, we're looking for over 300,000 missing children. We've already found 10,000. Have you heard that anywhere? No, the media is simply not covering it. And look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. Arresting public safety threats and national security threats, everybody be all the same page on that. Rescuing children, I mean, it should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should be in lockstep on that, but they're not. The media's lying. The Democrats they don't want President Trump to be successful. I got news for them. We are being successful. Every illegal alien public safety threat we arrest makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street and deport makes us safer. And we're rescuing thousands of children. The lives saved every day by ICE, the lives saved every day by Border Patrol, are in the hundreds. So the only thing I can think of, Griff, if they hate President Trump more than they love their community. They hate President Trump more than they want, safe communities. And there's just no other excuse why this is not, why this has become a partisan issue to take public safety threats off the street.
Exactly. And so to make matters worse, and this is just outrageous. To make matters worse, you've got the local media And they're intentionally lying about what's happening. And you've got Democrats, elected leaders, and they're intentionally lying about what's going on. I've never seen anything like, I mean, just blatantly lying. So I just told you that these 2 farms were marijuana farms, and it's legal. I got no, look, it's legal. If they want to grow it, whatever. What do I care? It's legal over there. But here's how Congressman Jimmy Gomez of California, here's how he's describing this. And no, the G is not silent, Del. It's not Yomez. But it is silent on like Guatemala and guacamole. But the G is not silent here. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we do our very best to provide you with the best south of the border linguistics on this radio program. We try. So anyway, Congressman Gomez is out there, and he was enraged. I've never seen a man enraged, and we've got the I think we've got the audio. We don't have the audio. All right, so I will do my best to convey what Congressman Gomez was saying. Ay caramba! Señoras and señoritas, they're just picking the strawberries. They're just little strawberries. I got to work on my south of the border accent. My apologies. They're just strawberries. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I'm going to get in trouble. So anyway, he says, these people, they're just strawberry pickers. I completely botched that, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies. You expect more from this program. Well, I got to tell you, and the White House is weighing in on this, and I love it. The White House saying, that ain't produce, Holmes. That's a product. And it's true. They're not strawberries, sir. It's marijuana. They're doobies. The devil's lettuce, sir. That's what the children were picking. The devil's lettuce. And then you've got the congressman out there, and this is what I want to read to you what he wrote. The guy is just a liar. He says, how many MS-13 gang members are waking up at 3 a.m. to pick strawberries? Oh, yeah, 0. Trump said he'd go after bad hombres, but he's targeting the immigrant farm workers who feed America. And he goes on to say, either he lied or he can't tell the difference. Well, Congressman, the MS-13 gang members probably were up at 3 a.m. selling what the children were picking in the fields. And it wasn't strawberries, sir. It wasn't strawberries. So all of this is going down in Ventura County, California. And the ICE agents are going in there. They're rescuing all of these poor little kids. And they're coming under attack. Literally, we had the video of them literally throwing giant rocks and other things at the ICE vans, breaking windows, causing all sorts of chaos. You got the guy opening fire on the ICE agents. It's just unbelievable what's happening right now. And the local media, the Democrats, they're all standing alongside the illegals. Every single one of them. But here's what gets me. The people that were attacking the federal agents, they were all waving Mexican flags. And they were using those flags to try, and the poles to try and puncture the tires on these government vehicles. Now, they had to call out the National Guard. That's how bad it got. They had to call out the National Guard here. And there were people that they were interviewing out there saying this was their land, their land. Now, where have we heard that before? Yesterday, we played some audio from Memphis, Tennessee, where the son of an illegal alien said that the border didn't change. We're just the border. He didn't cross the border crossed us. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually a war. It's an undeclared war, but you have Mexicans on American soil who are laying claim to our territory again. They want their property back. That's what this is all about. I mean, it really is that simple. And I don't know why it's so hard for our government to understand this. Even the Republicans, they don't get it. I remember at Fox News, they were terrified. Whenever I used the word invasion, they were horrified by that language. But that's exactly what's happened. And so they're being very intentional about this. It's not about picking strawberries or marijuana or whatever. This is about reclaiming territory they believe is theirs. And I guarantee you the Mexican government is behind all of this. I'm telling you, this is what it's all about. So what better way to do that than to send 20, 30, 40, 50 million illegals across the border to occupy America? What did you think was going to happen? All that to say, and I may be out of line here by what I'm about to suggest, but when a federal vehicle comes under attack by people waving the flag of another country, you open fire. You protect yourself. But I'm getting a little bit tired of federal agents, law enforcement, being attacked by people waving flags of other countries, and we don't do anything about it. And the reason why this is getting worse is we're not putting a stop to it. We got to stop playing games here, folks. We've been invaded. These people are waving it in our faces, their Mexican flags and whatnot. We've got to round them up and send them right back across the border. All right, we got to take a quick break here. 901-260-5926, our number. That's 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
Can't hear the whole show? Don't worry. Get the Toddcast and listen on your own time at ToddStarnes.com.
Hi, this is Todd Starnes, and there's no better time to get in shape than right now. That's why I'm really excited that Calitrin is part of my weight loss campaign. Here's my friend Elizabeth from Calitrin.
That's right. You know, Calitrin's safe with all medications, including all the weight loss shots that are so popular right now. In fact, Calitrin is exactly what you need if you're doing that, because you need to retain your lean muscle, you need to keep your metabolism boosted, and you want to tone and tighten that skin as you're losing weight the right way. So, again, completely safe and what you need, even if you're doing other weight loss medications. It's also safe with your heart medicines. It's safe with your blood pressure medicines. Calitrin is the weight loss product that you can know and trust. It's been around. It's been helping customers lose weight safely for almost 30 years. So check it out. Website is toploss.com or call us 833-TOP-LOSS.
Thanks, Elizabeth, and be sure to use that promo code TODD. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You know, Mike has a passion to help everybody get the best sleep of their life, and he didn't stop by creating the best pillow. He also created the best bed sheets ever. Mike is offering the best deal on his Percale bed sheets. You can get a set for as low as $24.98. The MyPillow Percale bed sheets are breathable and have a cool, crisp feel. They have deep pockets to fit over any mattress. They look great, they feel great, and that means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. Also, for a limited time, when you order over $100 worth of merch, you're going to get $100 in free digital gifts. Go to MyPillow.com and use promo code STARNS to receive the MyPillow Percale sheets for as low as $24.98. Order now or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code STARNS. That's 800-839-8506. Use promo code STARNS.
You can't escape a traffic jam. Know what else you can't escape? Seasonal allergies. And you might think you can avoid that coffee stain until... Oh, really? You can't escape a lot of things in life, but you can escape prediabetes. Prediabetes captures 1 in 3 adults. There are usually no signs of prediabetes. In fact, most people don't even know they have it. But with early diagnosis, you can change the outcome and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Take action by taking the 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. You might not be able to escape having this song stuck in your head, but you can escape prediabetes. Go to doihaveprediabetes.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Smokey the Bear. Then you know why Smokey tells you when he sees you passing through. Remember, please be careful, it's the least that you can do. What you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire.
After 80 years of learning his wildfire prevention tips, Smokey Bear lives within us all. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. And remember,
only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Now more than ever, it's important to support companies and organizations that share our values. Patriot Mobile not only shares our beliefs, but they actually do something about it. America's only conservative Christian wireless carrier. And they donate a portion of every dollar to organizations that fight for causes you care about. Switch to Patriot Mobile now and use the promo code TODD to get free activation and a free gift. Veterans and first responders save even more. Go to patriotmobile.com/Todd or call 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-PATRIOT. All right, welcome back to the Todd Stearns radio program. What an honor to have you with us today. Story from Fox News caught my attention. A restaurant surcharge stirs up controversy. Business owners should be embarrassed. The story written by Deidre Bardolph. An extra fee added to a check at a restaurant left one diner shocked and fired up people on the internet. A Georgia man shared a photo of his receipt to Instagram, asking WTF, what the heck is a living wage? So here's what the bill looked like. There was $13 for a Reuben sandwich, $12 for a hamburger, 2 sides of fries, $4 a piece, an 18% living wage fee, and that tacked on another $5.94, bringing his total to $40.75. Below the total was a disclaimer from the unnamed restaurant saying living wage fee of 18% added to each dine-in check. This fee goes directly to staff payroll and provides a living wage to our team. The notice also said that any tips given would be pooled and distributed among the entire team. The post received over 500 comments and was shared across the internet, including on Reddit. People debated the levy and brought up other controversial policies, such as a kitchen appreciation fee, a health and safety surcharge. Really? This is insanity. Now, I will tell you this. Again, the restaurant, I was at a restaurant the other day, and when actually I went in, it was a restaurant, but they sell their food as well, right? So you can, like a frozen meal or something like that, and I walked in and I got it, and I walked in, they have the freezers there, and I picked out what I wanted and closed the freezer door. And there were a few other items I picked up, and I walked over to the cashier stand, and I paid for my provisions. And so they have one of these. You've seen them, the flat screen, and so they flip it over so you can tap it and you can pay for it. A 30% tip popped up. That was the starting point. 30%. And I'm thinking, for what? I'm the guy that had to do all the work. Are they giving me a 30% tip? Is that the deal here? I mean, I had to drive over to the store, walk into the store, go get what I wanted. I'm paying for it. So what is the tip for? I didn't understand that. And in my business, and hear me on this, you can't put a zero, because then I become the lead story on CNN or MSDNC. That cheapskate Todd Starnes walked into a place, refused to tip. So I'm sitting here, and again, a 30% tip on whatever I was already buying. And then I had to go home. I had to cook it. I thought, well, maybe they're going to show up at my home and they're going to prepare it for me. And I'll sit down at my dining room table and they'll actually serve me. But I had to do that too. I got a little thirsty midway through my meal. Guess what? I had to get up from my own table and go and get some water. I'm drinking more water these days. It's healthy. So I'm still trying to figure out what the heck is a 30% tip for. I mean, here's how bad it's going to be. Sooner or later, and this is going to happen down at your grocery store, and this is why I hate shopping at Kroger, because you've got to check everything out yourself. You got to load your bags, and sooner or later, they're going to have a tip option, and it's going to be mandatory. It won't be an option. You'll have to tip the people working at Kroger. I mean, where does this end? Why should the poor guy in Georgia ordering a Reuben sandwich for $13, why should that guy have to pay somebody's living wage fee? And again, if the restaurant owner, and maybe some restaurant owner can help me out understand this, why don't you just charge more for your food and make sure it's really good food? Because I'm telling you, I don't mind paying tips. I love paying tips. As a matter of fact, I literally, whenever I go out to eat, I always pay whatever the bill is. That's the tip. So let's just say we take a group of people out and it's a $200 bill, then that waiter's going to get a $200 tip from me. And that's the other issue I have, is that a lot of these restaurants, they pool together the tips. And I got a problem with that, because I want to honor the person who served me and did a great job of it. And I'll tell you what's happened, at least here locally. Whenever I walk into one particular restaurant, you can actually see the servers coming over to try to get to me so I can be in there at their table, because I want to take care of people, and I'm able to do that, and I thank God that I'm able to do that. It's a blessing, and I want to be able to bless those waiters. I don't want to bless anybody else. I want to bless the person that's working to serve me. But again, a living wage? I'm with the guy from Georgia. What the heck is a living wage? So I'm curious, ladies and gentlemen, are you starting to see these kinds of things being included at your local restaurant that you go to? 901-260-5926 is our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. It is also Open Line Friday. Whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk about today. Maybe you got a question, you want to take me to task for something? Well, you can do that too. 901-260-5926. This is the Todd Starnes Show. We are living in dangerous and unstable times. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Starnes. Pandemics, international insecurity, shortages, supply chain disruptions, and an economy on the brink. We know we can't simply trust the government to protect us. Now more than ever, everyone needs to be prepared. And being prepared is more than just stockpiling ammo, food, and supplies. Being prepared should also include stockpiling critical prescription medications. And that's where my friends at the Wellness Company come in. Their medical emergency kit contains the prescriptions, antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics that you need to keep you and your family safe, from anthrax to tick bites to COVID, and even to a bioweapon like the plague. The Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Go to twc.health/Starnes today and order. That's twc.health/Starnes. Use the promo code STARNS, and you're going to save an extra 10%.
Most people out here think that taking care of one another is important. And most people would step up for a neighbor going through a tough time. Most people around here help out friends and family when they need it. But the funny thing is, most of us won't look for help when we need it. Talk to someone if you're struggling with mental health, because most people out here really care. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey. We're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
We're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for the... And there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All right, my good friend Laura Loomer. I know people are always shocked by that, but I like Laura, and we've known each other for a very long time. And as a matter of fact, the very first time she came upon the national scene was on my old Fox show back in New York City. And Laura is very passionate. She is incredibly loyal to one person. That would be Donald J. Trump. And everything she reports is always accurate. So I feel comfortable sharing this information with you. Laura writing that FBI Director Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are livid with Pam Bondi over the DOJ memo and the lack of transparency over the Epstein files. Sources tell Laura Loomer that Bongino is taking the day off today from his job as deputy director of the FBI, and there's speculation on whether or not he will return to his job over his disgust with Bondi's lack of transparency and handling of the Epstein files. Bondi brought total embarrassment to Trump. She also lied to the American people. She says that Cash and Bongino are furious, and the blowback has caused them with her lack of transparency. Fascinating story. Fascinating story. We'll keep you updated on that. Let's go to the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. Joe Messina, our great friend from Southern California, joins us. Joe, hope you're doing well today.
I am doing well. Freeways are wide open here in Los Angeles. Easy to get in and out of the home improvement centers, and I'm getting through the car washes faster. So it's great. It's wonderful.
Is that wow? Nice. Well, I'm curious because I had seen. No, in all seriousness, I had seen those reports. I didn't know what to make of them. Is traffic really that light over there?
It is. It's really funny because I don't get far out of the area that I live in, but every once in a while I have to go down towards L.A. into what's called the San Fernando Valley, and it's usually, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, almost to an hour, depending on traffic. I get down there now in 20, 25 minutes, and it is, you can see it and sense it. You can feel the difference right now, and I don't know if you've done this story about in Los Angeles City, where they're actually going to put a moratorium on evictions because some people can't pay their rent because they're not working all of a sudden.
Wow, this is. I find this all to be fascinating. But again, it goes back to exactly how many people are illegal in this country, and I think they're always lowballing the numbers, Joe, and I think what you're describing may lend some credence to that.
Oh, totally agree with you because again, I've got relatives in Massachusetts, and they're telling me the same thing, that traffic has lightened up quite a bit. And even some of the places they went to on a regular basis, they're not seeing the same people there. But I want to be clear about it. It's not that we don't like the people. My family are all immigrants from Italy, and there's a lot of good, hardworking, legal immigrants from Mexico and South America that come to this country the right way, and we welcome them. I mean, I love them. Seriously.
I think this is fascinating. Cal State University, Los Angeles, is shifting to online classes and will even allow faculty to work remotely. And I think there's a lot of concern about illegals. They're fearing the ICE rates.
Oh, listen, just before all this really started to come down heavy, there was an article, and it was about how 1.2 million illegals, ultimately, as they found out, were actually getting money from going to community college. They were signing up for community college grants and access to the community college. Plus, they were getting grant money for books and living expenses and all of that. So I think if we wait a little while, we're going to see that number drop tremendously too as well.
Joe,
but you're right about the online stuff. It's getting more abundant, if you would.
We were following the story that was unfolding yesterday afternoon in Ventura County with these marijuana farms that got raided. And what I'm just shocked here by this, Joe, because you've got Jimmy Gomez out there saying, oh, these people were just out there picking strawberries.
Uh-huh. So let me tell you, where I live, you know the area. There's a very large area on Highway 126 where that's what they do. They pick strawberries. They have oranges there and lemons and what have you. And usually, now that you bring it up, you see these crews. The cars are parked all along the sidewalk. And you see, they're out there, they're picking this stuff. And now I see very few cars and very few people out there. You're commenting about the marijuana farms, if you would. The north of where I live, too, when Congressman Mike Garcia was in office, he helped with a raid up in the Antelope Valley on those marijuana farms. And what ended up happening was, to your point, about 70% of the workers were illegals. So they picked them up along with shutting down the farm and that kind of stuff.
Joe, I'm just really fascinated by all of this. And the fact that your lawmakers there can just flat out lie. And I mean, it's not even trying to like color the. It's like flat out lying.
They don't just lie. This is a whole different country here. And the dictator known as the governor here, he decides he wants to do what he wants to do. You're not supposed to sign contracts with or rent apartments or anything along those lines to illegals. That's federal law. Governor Newsom has decided, I don't really care about federal law. We're our own place. We're our own country. If you don't rent to somebody or if you ask somebody their immigration status when you go to rent, you can be fined. So what are they supposed to do? They're in a real bad position. There was a very close friend of mine here who owned a business. He went through the whole process. He checked people out. And what he came to find out when he was raided by the feds about 2 years ago, that 80% of those guys had, even though he ran them through the proper channels, they were here illegally. And he got fined for every one of them. He had the paperwork, he had everything he needed, but they had all stolen Social Security numbers. So there's for California, there's almost a no-win for the average business here.
Wow, so I'm curious. So you've got all these illegals, and if they're if they're just staying in their homes or maybe they're leaving, how is that going though for the economy, for local businesses? They're clearly the interstate seem to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, you know what's really interesting too is to watch the the unemployment in the country as a whole. I just read an article, I don't know if you caught this, that over 2 million jobs since Trump has been in office have gone to American citizens, where almost 600,000 jobs were lost by illegal immigrants who decided to self-deport or got grabbed at work. So here I'm seeing there's people working. It's not like we're not seeing an issue. It's ultimately what it boils down to is that there were so many illegals, and you're right. I shouldn't say this in a positive way, but I can't wait to see how the economy's been hit here in California by losing these people, them losing their jobs, afraid to go to work, not being able to pay their rent. The mortgage people aren't going to wait just because you have illegals that aren't paying the rent. So it's going to be a real mess. I think you're going to see California get back pretty close to bankruptcy again here, and not in short order, but as time goes on.
Joe Messina with us, our great radio friend from Southern California, Santa Clarita, California. Joe, Homeland Security just a little while ago posted these images, and this kind of stuff just makes my blood boil. You have what looks to be, and I'm just going to say it appears to be National Guardsmen in this field yesterday in Ventura County, and they're standing there, and the people standing across from them are all wearing masks, and they're waving, I'm counting 1, 2, 3 Mexican flags. And Homeland Security says desecrating American soil by waving a foreign flag in defiance of our law enforcement is an outrage. It is an outrage, but what are we going to do about it? That's the broader question.
I'm kind of liking making this in the same light of, you got a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old, and you pretty much let them run wild all their lives, and all of a sudden you got your life straightened out, and you're going to slam the law down on these 16 and 17-year-olds. You're going to have a lot of trouble. The only way we're going to fix this is we're going to have to come down and start enforcing the law. We don't need new laws. We just need to start enforcing the ones we have. And I don't know how you feel about this, Todd. You and I haven't talked about it, but we don't have to give everybody citizenship. We have green cards. We have residency cards. We have temporary residency cards. Start looking at people that have been here that haven't really given us any trouble. And the only law, and I'm going to say that the law that they broke was coming here illegally. Let's do what Obama said we should do, what Clinton said we should do. They get fined. We find out who they are. They have an ID card. They have a Social Security number that they're paying in the taxes. They can't vote. But let's get a handle on it. Trump is talking about just blanketing this approval of hotel workers and field workers and kind of ignoring it for now. I wouldn't ignore it. I'd go ahead and get them in the system if they're truly doing the right things other than being here illegally.
Well, I don't think I'd have a problem with that so long as there's some sort of a penalty attached. I mean, especially those. And here's what I don't get, Joe. Okay, fine. You've been here 20, 25 years. You got a job. You're not speaking the language. How are you paying your taxes? Have these people been paying taxes? Are they getting all of these benefits? So again, I don't think it's just as easy as just saying, okay, here's a green card. I think there's got to be some penalties attached.
Oh, totally agree with you. There needs to be penalties attached. There needs to be, what they're doing. If they're getting past the I-9 check and all that, the online check from the government, then they're stealing somebody's Social Security number. And that's a problem. That's an issue because when you go to file your taxes and you've claimed X amount of income and they come back at you with a letter, and I've had people who've had this issue, they come back at you with a letter and said, you've underreported your income. You go, no, I haven't. And now you get this whole back and forth with the IRS. It's not fair. It's not right to them. But I'm in agreement with you. Yeah, there has to be some kind of penalty, some kind of fee paid for the aggravation that you caused by being here. But you got to admit that there are some good people, I'll put it that way, that are working hard, came here for a better life for their kids. They just did it the wrong way. And we need to help them try to get that together instead of just constantly. I don't know, Todd, if you've talked to some of your pastor friends, but I've talked to some of the pastors up in our area, and they don't want to do anything or say anything. And I said, you guys, real compassion would be if you would take the people that are in your churches illegally, try to find some attorneys that will come up pro bono and help them out. Help them do things the right way so they're not living in fear. This blame goes past the government, goes into our churches and other places too as well, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you on that. Joe, always good hearing from you. I will say this. You've got to be excited, though, about being able just to let loose in that Jag over on the interstates now.
Oh, you're not kidding, are you? I got to be careful, though, because my insurance is really high, and me and the judges know each other well in the traffic court, so I got to be careful.
No doubt about it. All right, Joe Messina, everybody on the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. Have a great weekend, Joe.
God bless, Todd. Have a great weekend.
All right. Folks, got to take a quick break here. 901-260-5926. Going to your calls coming up next.
You're with Todd Starnes.
Hey folks, Todd Starnes here. What's your plan when the smartest investors who never lose pile into gold and silver? They're buying now, watching value climb. Are you okay with missing out, seeing them thrive while you wait? Vault U.S. Gold is the answer. Trusted by pros. They offer gold IRAs to secure your retirement and gold and silver delivered, shipped, and insured to your door. Want to roll over your 401k? Well, their experts make it seamless, honest every step. Why Vault U.S.? Well, they're steady, reliable, no tricks, just value. Gold's hot. Don't regret sitting this out. Call 833-511-GOLD. That's 833-511-4653 or visit vaultusgold.com/Todd for a free investor kit. That's 833-511-GOLD or 833-511-4653 and get your free investor kit. And say Todd Stern sent you. Vault U.S. Gold. Buy smart, win big.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies and fiber and spice supplements. Our ingredients are 16 whole fruits, 15 whole vegetables, 4 powerful fibers, and 12 aromatic spices. It's one irresistible combo.
Oh, I have a friend, Julia, who has taken a Balance of Nature now for quite some time, and she said, "Oh, Becky, ask your doctor about taking Balance of Nature." So I talked to my doctor about it, and she said, "Oh, try it."
Primetime savings end Friday. Don't miss out. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 40% off your first preferred set with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. That's 1-800-246-8751. Don't miss the chance for primetime savings. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code Todd.
It'd be great if life came with a remote control. You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome. But prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
All right. Does Pam Bondi, people are now calling for Pam Bondi to be fired. You know, I don't know what happened to Pam. I really don't. I think she's a terrific lady. She's always been very straightforward and forthcoming. And this whole thing is just very weird. Very weird. Anyway, Laura Loomer leading the charge now, saying Trump should just fire Pam Bondi. You know, she's going to get a job over at Fox News anyway. So you know how that all works out. She's on there all the time. Let's go to the phone lines on this Open Line Friday, 901-260-5926. Jerry in Iowa. Hey, Jerry, what's on your mind?
Hello, Todd. I am holding in my hand a Marxist children's book. It's 16 pages long. It promotes the life of Cesar Chavez. It's probably written for third, fourth graders, and it's got colors and pictures, and the guy was an illegal alien who started doing strikes and activism. He was associated with La Raza in the 60s, and I got this outside of an ice cream shop on one of those free little book houses, like a doll house, and it's always packed full of children's books. And every time I go there, there's another Marxist children's book fomenting race and unfairness and social justice. And this one is a new one for me. It's called Cesar Chavez, the farm worker's friend, and he talks about how unfair it is in America, and they have sad farm workers in California in the fields, and actual photographs from the 60s of these people marching. So it's sort of a mixture of striking and unions and children's art. So it's the hard part is I'm trying to get people to believe me that I keep getting a different Marxist book for children in this little dollhouse thing. And then the other hand, and once they do believe it, if they do, they just say, oh, well, they don't seem to care about it too much. But this is where your radical generation has come from. The thing was made in 2004, the book was, and it's got 4 words in its glossary: migrant, strike, union, and vineyards. And this has got to be written for 3rd or 4th graders.
You know, Jerry, I'm not surprised by this. And we have an independent bookstore in the Memphis area, and they have a children's section that is loaded with all sorts of Marxist and communist propaganda like that. I remember, though, years ago, Jerry, you reminded me of a story I covered, and this is many, many years ago, and it was in Des Moines, where a father got a hold of his middle school son's homework assignment, and there was a cartoon, and the whole thing was about Marxism and communism, and they had a little cartoon about, okay, this is what it looks like in the factory when the capitalists are in charge. And this is what it looks like when the communists are in charge, or the workers are in charge. That's how they framed it. And it was really shocking because the capitalists are portrayed as chaining all of the workers together, and they're weeping while the fat cat factory owners, have all the money.
Yeah, well, we've had a difficult problem in Des Moines when the governor and the red legislature said that the schools had to purge out all this activist offensive books, including the LGBTQ stuff. The very next day, the teachers got on the internet and email and social media and started saying, we're going to hunker down. We're not going to. They just resisted every effort to get these books out of the libraries. This was in Des Moines. And then just as kind of a sidebar to that, there's a Muslim community in Des Moines, and there was a few years ago an attempted beheading. Steve Deace interviewed that person. So yeah, there's a book problem in Des Moines and in Iowa. Inside this book here, this little Marxist children's book, it's Holy Family School. Somebody wrote, so some church school around here, I don't know which one it is, has been sporting this sort of material. So yeah, it's a problem. The school teachers, they refuse. They're just going to hide underground until this blows over, and then they're going to keep indoctrinating these children because they feel like it's more responsible for the kids than the parents.
No doubt about that. No doubt about it. Jerry, we're going to have to leave it there. We're coming up on the top of the hour news here, but thank you for calling in. Have a great weekend. 901-260-5926, our telephone number. That's 901-260-5926. Again, head on over to the website, toddsterns.com. There's so many great, things for you to take advantage of there. Many of you are signing up for my new Substack account. That's going great. And, of course, we've got free products, our podcast, and our newsletter as well. Be sure to take advantage of that. We try to give you great original content, and that's how you're going to have access to that. Of course, as always, free of charge. All right, hang tight, everybody. Hour 3 of the big show coming up. This is the Todd Stearns Show.
Attention, Patriots. Old Glory Bank, the bank for Main Street, not Wall Street, is now offering you a chance to own a piece of America's freedom economy. President and CEO Mike Ring recently testified before the Senate Banking Committee to fight for your banking freedom. Now you can join the fight by investing in Old Glory Bank. Visit own.oldglorybank.com to become an owner today. Investments involve risk, are not FDIC insured, and are not guaranteed. See our offering circular.
Franklin Graham says Star-Spangled Blessings is a must-read for America's Patriot families. The newest book from Todd Stearns, a daily devotional filled with great stories about how God has blessed America. Star-Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots. Each daily devotional comes with a Yankee Doodle, a Patriot prayer, and a Liberty lesson. Not to mention some all-American recipes that will bless your heart and your belly. Star-Spangled Blessings, Devotions for Patriots, available at your favorite bookstore or order online at toddstarns.com.
Many college grads are anti-capitalist activists. So if you're a business owner, how do you find new employees who won't destroy your business? Hi, this is Todd Stearns, and that's where Red Balloon comes in. They're America's #1 pro-freedom job board, and they're shaking up the hiring world by focusing on values and mission-aligned talent. Now, there are 2 ways Red Balloon can help. You can post your job on their national job board. Over 20,000 people visit every week. Or you can hire Red Balloon Recruiter for a more customized talent search. Now, the recruiter team is really fantastic. They start by learning your workplace culture and writing a custom job posting, and then they source and screen candidates from their national database. Their team conducts first interviews, and you get alerts when they find highly qualified candidates. And Red Balloon delivers these high-quality results at a fraction of traditional corporate recruiter prices. People are saying Red Balloon is a game changer. So check them out today, redballoon.work. Use the promo code STARNS and save $100 on Recruiter. Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Stearns. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GPS for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code GPS for a $5 bonus.
The reviews are not so good for the all-new woke Superman movie, Truth, Justice, and the American Way, replaced with Truth, Justice, and All Those Good Things. The movie director never did quite get around to explaining what all those good things might have been, but I have a few thoughts. Director James Gunn said he wanted his new iteration of The Man of Steel to be about politics, immigration, and climate change, cloaked in what he called basic human kindness. In other words, if you have a problem with 20 million people crossing our border illegally, you are unkind and un-American. Now, you might be wondering what a superhero character has to do with our culture, and it's a fair question. Superman's an all-American hero created right here on American soil, and his very essence is being co-opted to advance an un-American agenda, an agenda that does not promote truth, justice, and certainly is not the American way. I'm Todd Stearns.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes.